I want to take a minute now that the students have left. It's been a very long day teaching in the classroom to address one of my pet peeves. Okay, one of my pet peeves as an artist are people that always talk about wanting to do art or make art, but they always say they don't have time. I always ran into these in college, right? People that didn't have the assignment done or didn't get things done, and I'm talking about adults, not my students, because they're teenagers and they do what they do. But I'm talking about adults that talk about not having time to make artwork or to pursue some sort of creative passion that's a part of them. So I have found, and somebody once told me this, I didn't come up with it, that it's true that if you care about something enough, you will find time for it. You will always find time. So, like, for instance, I have two small children. I've been working with the union through this whole strike thing that we had recently. I've got a full-time job here as a teacher, dealing with all the stresses that come with life. I don't use those as an excuse. I don't use my work with the union as an excuse. I don't use my children as an excuse. I don't use any of that, my job as an excuse. It's not an excuse. I still find time to do the things I care about. Now, I might not be as prolific as I was, but I certainly still find time. And as part of that, though, you look over the last 4 years, I've been working on this cartoon called Republic, and it'll be a feature-length cartoon. And it's going to be like the culmination of all of the work that I've done so far. The idea of this movie for me was to be kind of a last. I always felt like I couldn't say that I was an animator or that I had went as far as I could go with that until I did a feature film. So 4 years ago, I started on this idea of making like an anthology to make it easier to piece together. It's developed, of course, a lot since then. So my goal is to have it done by September. So for 4 years, though, in those 4 years, I've worked a full-time job. And up until fairly recently, I've worked multiple jobs on top of that full-time job. And I've had two children in that time. I've had all these things in life that have happened, but I've still always made time to do that. Now, it doesn't mean every day. There have been periods of time for a month or two where I might not touch it because things are happening, but I always make a point to come back to it to finish it, right? So the reason I'm getting to this point, though, is that as I finish this cartoon, it's become work to me now. It's not something that I enjoy or is a passion of mine, animation. And so I don't think I'm leaving it completely after I finish this cartoon. I'll certainly still do animation, but it's going to be not something that's this rigorous. That's the issue with being a one-man band in animation, is it's a lot of work. It's an enormous amount of work with a very tiny yield. In fact, I had somebody, one of my college professors told me, he said, film is the most counterproductive thing you can do with your life because you spend all this time working on footage and setting things up, and then at the end you have, just a short amount of footage that's edited to actually show for it. So my goal, though, with this is, a lot of people don't know that I am an award-winning animator. I've worked on projects before. I've shown projects in other countries, but they've all been short films. So the goal here is to do something that's longer. The goal is 40 minutes in length. So I do this project, and then I'm going to move on to some different types of things. I've been, as a lot of the videos I've posted and photos I've posted have been of the matchlock muskets. So that's something else I'm going to do. I've been making crowns. I like making artifacts, and I used to do a lot of that when I was younger, but I haven't had, with the animation and stuff going on, I've moved away from that. I've done a lot of work on computers and setting at a desk. I'm just kind of tired of doing that. I want to get out and make cool stuff with my hands again. Maybe do some metalworking, do some blacksmithing, which I've done before, and work on these matchlock muskets, which are really interesting to me right now as a topic, and to also move into other things as well. The musket that I made last year that I've been, disassembling now and getting ready to work on, the idea is I'm going to jewel that and gild it and do all kinds of cool stuff to it. I'll have some examples of that in a future video of exactly what I'm going to do with it. But it was totally a prototype. Like this gun, never made one before, not a lot of resources on the internet. One of the things that has prompted me to make the YouTube videos and to start posting more about the matchlock stuff is that when I started making it, there wasn't a lot in terms of how it functions or history. And it is an obscure piece. Like I get the history, I get that. Matchlocks are an obscure part of especially for American history, but it's not something that we're real vetted in, but it definitely, to me, is a very interesting topic aesthetically and historically. So I'll post more on that later on. I do want to thank everybody for the attention I've been getting for these videos and stuff. I've had a lot of support. I've had a lot of great viewers, and that's really been pretty awesome. So I just wanted to let everybody know where I am with the future of my personal work and where we're going right now. It'll be a slow road because, again, I've got all these other responsibilities, but I won't stop doing it. So my goal now is to try to do a video a week for YouTube and to do a couple blog posts a week and to post some of my stuff on Instagram and that sort of thing. So we're working going forward to try to make sure that more stuff is getting out there as far as what I'm doing and keeping people that have tried to follow me for a while kind of up to what I'm going on with, or however you say that, I don't know. But anyway, thank you all so much for sitting through all of this video. I really appreciate it, and I'll talk to you soon.